You'll get a div divided by 0 error, especially if you're a new company tracking profits in Google Sheets. If your sales are 0, this error shows up in the net income column. But don't worry, I'll show you the quick fix. Let's get started. So here we are in Google Sheets with an untitled spreadsheet. I'm going to call this net income tracking. So we're going to put in every month of the year, starting with January. To keep track of sales, expenses, and profits for my new business, we'll show you how to fix the div0 error and replace it with something better. But stay until the end to learn whether the business made or lost money in the first year. Even I don't know yet. Let's left align these because formatting is so important. Because I have it zoomed in, I don't have the alignment button on my screen. So I will left align there. And I am going to put sales here, expenses here, and net income here, and net income percent. And let's format it to make it look good. Column headers usually have a bottom border. And we'll center the column titles to make the schedule look more professional. Now, in January, I didn't have any sales, but I had $500 of expenses. So my net income was negative 500, and my net income percent is net income divided by sales. And you'll see right away I get a div error. But if I had $250 in sales, and I had $450 in expenses, and I had a loss of $200, it would provide for net income percent of sales equal to negative 80%. That's a big loss in percent terms. Kind of hard to recover from those 2 months, but let's see how the rest of the year goes. So say my sales increased to $750 in March, $600 of expenses in March. I'm going to copy these formulas down. While I do that, subscribe today to learn Google Sheets to understand and grow your small business. And you'll see there I have 150. I copy this formula down. You'll see I get a bunch of divs. What does div0 error mean? The pound div divided by 0 exclamation point error occurs when you are dividing an amount by 0. So in this case, you'll see in January I had sales of 0, I got the error. When I had sales of $250, I got 0.8. So let's change this to a percent because again, taking time to format really helps to understand your business performance. I'm going to go to 1 decimal place, and you'll see here that when I have sales of $750 and expenses of $600, $150 of net income, I have a 20% net income percent. Now let's go to $900 in sales. Say we have a lot of expenses. Let's say we have $800 this month, and you'll see that I have 11.1% net income to sales. So now you see that I do not have the error when there are sales, but I have the error when sales are 0. And a lot of new businesses will have days or weeks or months that don't have sales. So let's go May 2025 and say here there's only $400 of expenses. And again, I still have the div divided by 0. So how do I get rid of the div0 error? What you need to do is add a formula to recognize that there's a problem and then provide a result in replace of the div error. So now what we want to do with this formula is add the if error statement, comma, sales are 0, or any words to communicate the denominator is 0. So now we know that the sales are 0 and it will return an error. If I copy this down, you'll see I get the same result, but now I'm communicating instead of the div0 that I have a formula that I can't calculate, and I'm communicating why. So now if I copy this down the rest of the way and fill out the remainder of my sheet, I can have sales of 600, expenses of 200, sales of 0, expenses of 300, sales of 1,100, expenses of 800, sales of 400, expenses of 275, and then let's do sales of 300, 0, 250, and expenses of 400, 300, and 100. Now I can total the year with a sum function and see that I had sales of $4,550, copy and paste there to get expenses of $5,125, or a loss in this case of 12.6% and $575. So I lost money in my first year of my business. So to help this schedule communicate better, how do I format data in Google Sheets? And I can also format, again, to make it look good, because I like schedules and they are more readable when the formatting is better. I'm going to add dollar signs up here in the first row. And dollar signs in the last row. Let's see if I can get rid of those parentheses. I don't like that. There we go. So I know that these are now dollars. So one more time, how do I remove div0 in Google Sheets? Div error is created when I divide anything by 0 in Google Sheets. If I want to remove the div error and put something else in there, I can type in and use the function if error, maintain my formula, comma, and put in a comment to explain why I have an error here. Have a great day. To learn more Google Sheets for your small business, watch this video next.